We are on. Okay, so we are going to talk, now that we've looked at FOIL, and you guys are fabulous at FOIL, we're going to do the reverse. We're going to take something that is a trinomial and turn it into a factored thing where you have two sets of parentheses, right? And you have a binomial in each of them. You guys all know what binomials are, right? Mm-hmm. Two-term. Okay, so we're going to try, instead, I'm going to first start by just doing this. X plus 2 times x plus 5. And I'm going to multiply it out using FOIL. First, so I'm going to do first times that, then outside, inside, last. So first is x squared. Outside is 5x. Inside is 2x. Last is 10. So 5x plus 2x is 7x. So my final answer is x squared plus 7x plus 10. Now my goal now is, I did this so that we're going to be able to go backwards, and we're going to sort of see how do I get from here back to there, right? Okay. So what you are looking for, this is what you're looking for. Factors. I'm just wondering how to describe this. Yes?
It could be factors of 10 that then when you put next by it equals 7.
Exactly. Okay, so let's do that. So factors of the last number that add up to the coefficient of the middle number. Remember, the coefficient is the 7? So that's what you're looking for. Factors of the last number that add up, right? Add to equal middle number. Right? You guys remember this a little bit from last year? Yes? So my goal is to figure out what are my factors of 10. All right? So factors of 10 would be 1 times 10, right? Or 2 times 5. And I'm going to see, so those are my factors, 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. I'm going to add them together. I'm going to say 1 plus 10. So 1 plus 10 is 11. Does that equal 7? No. And then I'm going to try 2 plus 5, right? So 2 plus 5, does that equal, that's 7. Does that equal our middle number? Yes, it does. Therefore, we know that 2 and 5 are our numbers that are going to be inside our binomials, inside our parentheses. So I'm going to put my 2 sets of parentheses, and I know it's going to be x and x, right? Because that's the only way I can get x squared, right? Sorry. X and x. And then I figured out 2 times 5 is positive 10. Positive 2 plus positive 5 is equal to positive 7. That's what I want. So I'm going to take the 2, and put it in one of these. It's a positive 2. And I'm going to take the 5 and put it in this one, plus 5. Does that make sense? The trick, this is the trick right here. Factors of the last number. Factors means you're multiplying, right? Right? Factors of something, factors of 10 is 1 times 10, or 2 times 5, you're multiplying. So two numbers that multiply to get the last number, that add, when you add them together, they equal the middle number, right? Everybody's clear on that? All right, so let's try a few. All right, so let's say x squared plus 8x plus 15. Okay, so in the beginning, they're going to be relatively simple. But, so, is it a quadratic trinomial?
It's
How do you know?
there are three things.
It has three things, but is it a, okay, so it's a trinomial. Is
And
it
they're
quadratic?
It has x squared.
It has x squared, so it's quadratic, right? So when it has x squared, it's a quadratic, that means we're factoring it with these two parentheses, right? Two sets of parentheses. Boom, boom. So I draw my parentheses. How can I get x squared? X and x, right? So that's easy. All right? Now, I need factors of 15. 1 times 15 or 5 times 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. So that's going to be 5 plus 3 is 8. That's great. Whoops. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to put plus 5 because it's a positive 5. Positive 5 times positive 3 is positive 15. And it's a positive 3, so I'll put plus 3. So we just factored it. Now, what I want to teach you is to always check it. Always check it. Don't ever, ever not check it. Because it takes literally 1.5 seconds to do it. And you'll know you're right. Right? We know that the 3 times 5 is right because we did that. We did that, right? The question is this. This is always the part that people mess up on. Did it add up to positive 8x? Right? So you are going to, what is it in FOIL that adds up to 8x? John, what is it in FOIL? F-O-I-L.
Right.
That adds up to 8x.
It's 5x plus 3x.
Yeah, but what part of FOIL? Does anybody know?
It's
Tiana.
Last.
The
No,
last will multiply to get 15. So Mary.
Inside and the outside.
The outside and the inside. O-I. It's the inside. It's the when you got the word FOIL. F-O-I-L. It's the two inside terms that is what adds up to the middle term. Okay? And so outside is this, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Inside is this. That is so easy to do. Look, this plus this. This plus this. So what's 3x plus 5x?
8x.
8x. We just did it. Less than a second and a half. And we know we got it right. We know we got 100 now on the quiz, right?
Yep.
Whereas if you don't check it, you don't know. Checking really helps. I mean, you will really know you're great if you check. It's as simple as that. Okay. So we're starting simple. And we're going to get more complex soon. But I just want to be sure everybody's getting it. X squared. How much time do I have? Say what? Okay, sure. Well, let's do it. Let's do a negative one. Let's say, let me see here. I'm not as good as I'm a little rusty on making these up in my head. X squared minus 6x minus, or excuse me, plus, what did I just do? I forgot what I did. 8. Hopefully that's right. Okay. Now, look, doggone it, there's a negative sign. It's negative 6 in the middle now, right? So I've got to think of something here. Now, sometimes it helps to think about what do the signs actually have to be, right? What is the only way I can get a positive 8 here? A positive number. What would be the signs that would give me a positive number if I multiplied them times each other? Emma?
Both negative.
Okay, both negative, or I could consider both positive, right? But because there's a negative there, they're going to be both negative. You're totally right. So I know it's going to be negative, and I know it's going to be negative. And I know to get x squared it's going to be x, and I know it's going to be x. So great. So now I'm looking for factors of 8 that add up to negative 6. But we decided that those factors both have to be negative, right? See what I mean? So it's not going to be 1 times 8. It could be negative 1 times negative 8. That would give me the negative whatever and the negative whatever, right? So negative 1 times negative 8. If I add them together, I get negative 9. That's not going to work. So negative 2 times negative 4, right? Add those together, I get negative 6. There we go. So it's going to be negative 2. I already put the negative in. So I'm going to put 2 and 4. So negative 2, negative 4. Now I'm going to try it. I'm going to check it. I'm going to check it. My outside plus my inside. Negative 4x minus 2x, negative 6x. We're done. We know we got it right. We got 100 on the quiz again. Okay? And we know it. We don't even have to wait for Gary to grade it.
Did this earlier in the year? Like we have it here and we have to do this?
Yeah, don't really.
I don't think we did it. Did we do it this year?
Yeah.
We did it last year.
No, we did it in, we didn't do it in class, I'm pretty
No,
sure.
Edward Berger taught us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We did it on the
It was like
Did we do that?
Yeah.
Oh, we did? Oh, good. So you guys are good at this. All right. So the different types that you'll see are like the first one we did, like x squared plus 8x plus 15, where both of the signs are positive, right? So then it's going to be x plus 3 times x plus 5. If the last sign is positive, we know that these signs have to be the same. They're either both plus or both minus. That's the only way you can get a positive number in the last when you multiply them, right? Okay, but what about this? What if you have this? X squared, let me think. Okay, x squared minus x minus 12. Now we have a negative in the last, by the last number. All right, so it's a trinomial, right? It's a trinomial, quadratic trinomial. Quadratic, x squared, trinomial, 3 terms. I know I'm going to be able to try this. And I know it's going to be x and x. Now, what is the only way I can get a negative number as my last, in terms of signs here? Yes?
one's a negative and one's a positive.
One's a negative, one's positive, so I'll put positive, negative. Okay, so factors of negative 12. One of them's got to be positive, one's got to be negative, right? So I could do negative 1 times 12, or I could do 1 times negative 12, or I could do negative 2 times 6, or I could do 2 times negative 6. See how there's a lot of options now? When there's a negative here, there's a lot of options. And then I could do negative 3 times 4, or I could do negative 4 times 3. Right? Yes? Those are all my options. So which one of those adds up to negative 1? Yeah, this one. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So I'm going to put the 4 by the negative, and I'm going to put the 3 by the positive. Yes? Everybody's with me so far? It makes sense, right? For sure? Okay, good. All right. So our quick check, right? 1 to 2 seconds. Negative 4x plus 3x. Negative 1x, right? It works. Okay, good. So those are your 3 possibilities. Now, with this third possibility, I'm going to erase this for a second. In fact, can I erase this now? You guys know that now, right? I'm gonna rewrite this, same one, and I'm gonna maybe do it in a different color for a second. X squared, it's not gonna be quite the same. X squared plus x minus 12. Almost identical. The only difference is I changed that number in front of the x, right? The middle term, right? So I've got this, x, x, and I know one's got to be positive and one's got to be negative. It's the only way I can, right? It's the only way I can get a negative 12 is if one's positive, one's negative, right? Yes, for sure. Plus, minus. Now, factors of negative 12, I could do them all out again, but I'm going to go back to, I'm going to just say either 3 times negative 4 or negative 3 times 4. Which one of those gives me a positive one?
3 times 3 plus
Negative 3 plus 4, this one? Okay, so now I'll put my 3 in front of the negative and my 4 by the positive. Okay? So, look at this. before the larger, John, this is important now, really. This is really important. You do have, okay, just look over here. The large, good, right, okay, but the larger number, the larger factor has a negative in it, right? Your middle number has a negative in it. Over here, the middle number has a positive. Your larger factor has a positive in front of it. So it's a quick way to check, too. Like, oh, if I know this one says the signs are going to be opposite each other, this tells me it's going to be positive. Therefore, when I find my factors that equal 12 or negative 12, I got to make sure that the bigger number has the plus sign in it. In this case, the bigger number has to have the minus sign. Does that make sense? That's just another thing as an extra check. You don't have to know that, but it's useful because you'll make less mistakes. If you always think of what are the factors of negative 12, just add up to positive 1, you'll get it. All right. So I guess should I stop there? Now tell me real quickly. So with Edward Berger, so you guys did this earlier. I forgot about that. I think I started doing that early on. I think I forgot about that. I meant that I did that. But did he teach you how to solve if it equaled 0? Does that sound familiar?
I don't remember.
Solve for x,
Was
okay.
it on the homework?
All right. So I think for now, we're just going to practice these. I think the homework is going to be practicing these. And I might have to make them up. I thought I had something in here, but it's not quite good enough. So we'll see. I'll figure something out, and I'll give it to you later. Okay?